All right. Sorry about that. That's my fault.
Live.
I was, doing some operation stuff. Well, I only come here a couple days a week, and so when I do, it's always, a lot going on, a lot of chaos. So, and you've created a bunch of chaos. That's what we're trying to solve.
See how that feels?
Yeah, it's no fun.
That's good.
So welcome everybody. Sorry about being late. It's 2:17, and we're here, and we're happy, and we're making strides in this world, and just trying to survive is what I'm trying to do. So, but my house is almost done. Well,
nice.
The garage is almost done. So we can talk a little bit today about the future plans, and we talk about your future plans, and kind of update everybody what's going on. So we can chat about that for those who are inquiring. But have you got any questions there? Anything,
we got
updates?
a ton since we've had 17 minutes to
nice.
build up here. So is Rusty's house closed yet?
No, he closes on his Dallas house. I think the 3rd, and we close on mine on the 10th.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, let's see here. We'll start out with some questions. Harley17, good afternoon, gentlemen. Matt, I noticed someone had 3D printed some organizers for the small Milwaukee containers like the one you have for the saw blades. Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of guys that do that. Like Jake All does a lot of organization stuff, friend of mine. There's several other, people that make those. I just don't like anything really. There isn't much good stuff out there that's 3D printed. I'd rather it be injection molded or some like actual produced good. And I know there's 3D printers continue to improve, but I just don't. I don't know. It seems too brittle to me.
Let's see. Dan Pfeiffer, our buddy from Minnesota. Good afternoon from sunny Minnesota. He says it's 50 plus degrees up there today. It's 80 here.
What is it here? Oh, I got a sweatshirt on still.
Yeah, we'll see how long.
I'm back on the cold plunge, so. Yeah, what's our temperature here today? Let's see.
I think it's 80-ish. Brad checking in from the Pacific Northwest. Good morning, OG crew. Thanks. Hey, Matt and Chris, this is from our buddy Philippe in Canada. Thanks for the shout out 2 weeks ago about OG Canada. We're one step closer, Philippe. We're getting there. Let's see. Any new products, Brandon wants to know, coming from Mirka that you can tell us about?
No, there's nothing new. Again, I'm talking to them about the possibility of making a 1-inch, a 5-inch, and so I'm actually we're finalizing our trip. I'm going out to meet the whole company and the engineering and sit down with them about draw out what I'm hoping we can make together in May. So I think second week of May, I'm flying to Finland. I've never been to Europe, and I'm about to go to Europe twice inside of 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Finland.
Gosh. Yeah, this is, I don't know if I like this.
Anybody from Finland in the chat chime in here? That'd be cool.
Finland is, who was telling me? Somebody, at least Finland says that it's like the happiest place, happiest country in the world or something.
The surveys, yeah. You might not come back.
I suspect the weather.
Yeah,
The weather's not going to work for me.
Let's see what the weather in Helsinki is right now. 34.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Not much variance there. 34 to 28, 34 for the high and low.
Not the snow.
On Tuesday. Yeah. Interesting. Never been there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any news on the Mirka Polisher? Oh, that was kind of the same. Sorry. Let's see. I've been listening to the entire conversations with Rusty. You'll soon be able to stop moving dirt around and get back to what you enjoy doing. Sending positive vibes your way.
Yeah. Rusty's drinking from a fire hose at the moment, so we'll do what we just scheduled. We'll do it on Saturday as well. So we try to get through day one of my day, right? And we only got through half of it. We only got to like noon or something like that in 3 hours.
I was joking with Rusty. I said I'm anxious for this 9-hour podcast on time management.
Yeah,
that's about what it is. Part 1 is out now for you YouTube and Inside the Hex people. Let's see here. Just wanted to send a big thank you to Chris. Oh, thanks, CK Mac, for all the years in the podcast. Good luck at your new adventure. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I think all the Canadians are ready for OG Canada. I think you're right, Philippe.
So that's what I was meeting with Rusty about, by the way. He says, we can do this your way in 12 months, or we can do it the better way, which is not my way, in a month. So I chose the month. I said, well, I don't even know what my way is, so let's do it whatever way you guys are suggesting. Let's get it done. A lot of it has to do with currency, and us sort of eating currency. And Canada is actually going to basically break even or lose money for quite some time. And I knew that going in. And so one of the things I was pretty adamant about in the beginning is I would really like to keep Canadian dollars in Canadian dollars. But that's like the one thing that breaks the whole possibility of having the darn website. For whatever reason, Shopify hasn't figured out how to do it the way that we're doing it. Most companies, what they do when Shopify markets is they just ship individual items to the country they're shipping to, and that doesn't work for what we do. So I want to ship it in Canada. So most companies that are using Shopify, they don't have their own bespoke website, are not going to do what we're doing. And so we're kind of pioneering this. So that's what's taken so darn long, is to figure that part out. And I think I'm just going to accept the fact that Shopify will currency convert for me. It doesn't have anything to do with you as a Canadian purchaser. It's just that it automatically converts every sale to US dollars for me.
Let's see here. This is from Ben Finner. You have any thoughts on the TSI Clever lever for heavy tire changing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of those things, but I just don't want to have... the thing I like about the one that I have is it's little, it's small, and it goes in like a drawer. Actually, the company that makes the track system that I have, or what is it called? I can never remember the name of it. The one that I've been using in videos, Track Tire Jack, is that it's so small. That's why I like it. And so, to me, it was worth the effort. The extra effort required to not have to have some big giant pole that I've got to put somewhere.
Joseph says, I understand where Matt is coming from, but I really think he needs to try ADS's normie quartz coating. Like, put it on a car and live with it for a bit. It's really quite nice.
What is
with ADS? The quartz coating?
Is that Auto Armor? Oh, yeah, Armor Detail Supply.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just not in the market for a new coating. The one I got is great. So, I mean, there are going to be like nuanced, minute differences, but I don't know. I like what I use.
TDAS 250. Will Angel Wax get the boot in favor of Traceless?
No, I mean, Traceless is not a sledgehammer. Traceless is it's a gentleman's perfection, glass cleaner. I like Angel Wax for that, that time, like you get a new car and it's off gassing, or you got some funky, or you get a new car to you that needs to be really deeply cleaned. I like having that ammonia-based sledgehammer of a glass cleaner. It's awesome. So I don't think it replaces it. Next thing I know, I'm going to have 5 glass cleaners. There's this really cool product from LE that's plant-based. So it doesn't have any alcohol in it, that we're going to be, I don't think it exists yet. So maybe speaking out of school here. But it's made of like agave and something else. And so it gets that stamp of organic stamp. We're probably going to develop it and use it for in your house. And it has the same kind of concept where you spray it on and you could leave it there and it would dry without any trace left behind. And so, Traceless is amazing, but it has some pretty hefty stuff in there. And so all these glass cleaners can kind of live together.
Interesting.
I think.
Let's see. Jason says, is the new tool package ready soon? Sockets, screwdrivers, pliers, etc. with the tool grid setup.
Yes. Nick's coming down to take the next step next week, and so we're getting closer. We've identified what are the basic advanced ultimate packages. Now we just have to create it, which is a big project. And Rusty just told me the numbers of what that project's going to generate, and I don't know. We might be pushing it down the pike here a little bit.
Andrew says, really excited to have OG Canada finally happening. Hopefully there's an OG Canada line of T-shirts in the works.
Oh, yeah, I'd like that. Mm-hmm. Get a little Canadian leaf on there.
Yeah. I think there's that and maybe a hat or two. Andrew,
yeah,
as well.
I like
give us time on that. Let's see here. Gregory wants to know, does the Blue Sound Icon Node work better than the Jotunheim as a DAC for your desktop computers?
I don't know if it's better. It's pretty similar. The advantage is that you have a dedicated sub out, so you don't have to run like a Y adapter or run through the sub if your sub has a pass-through or a crossover. It's going to be better when Dirac is on board. Right now it doesn't have Dirac yet, but in a future software update it'll have Dirac. And so in that case, yes. The other thing that I'm working on with them is to, right now you can't control the volume from your keyboard. I want it when you plug in USB-C that the volume just, it works. Signal sensing is really great. Every time I turn the computer on, it turns my speakers on, everything's good. But the last thing that right now you have to control the volume on either the Jotunheim or on the Node. So once the Node Icon has that capability, there's no question. But the Jotunheim's half the price, and it works. It's got a little volume knob on it. It's a lot smaller. But my preference is going to be the Node. Plus, the other advantages than the Node Icon gives you the ability to do Blue Sound, so you can use your computer speakers as part of your home audio distributed audio system as well. So I think there's quite a few check boxes that the Icon has that will be worth it. Specifically, sub out, and then Dirac is going to be awesome.
Joseph says, late happy Friday to you guys. One more question. What is a metering tip?
It is it's a smaller orifice, so it has a little pinhole in it that you put on the inlet to the foam cannon. So the way a foam cannon works, you have the head, and then you have a straw, or a silicone tube that runs down into the soap, and then they put a little stainless steel ball on the end of it, so that way the ball, always whichever way you're tilting the bottle. And so a metering tip goes into the inlet of the straw, so on that stainless steel ball. And what the metering tip will allow you to do is it will siphon at a slower rate. So it's because the way that your foam cannon works is you pass water through. There's a Venturi effect that's created, or a vacuum that's created, and it pulls the soap up into the line, into the stream. And then you have the head. There's a filter in there, and then the head sort of pinches the stream, and so you create foam that way. And so there's air, water, soap all mixing and then coming out the head of the foam cannon. And so that siphoning is adjusted for when you're using straight soap by using a metering tip. You wouldn't want to siphon just straight soap in that Venturi because you'll be pulling way too much soap and eating through dollars and dollars of soap. So instead, the metering tip just changes the size of the hole to much smaller, so that way you can put undiluted soap in your foam cannon and siphon it through at a much lower rate.
All right, so speaking of that, Nick Anderson says, have you tried using metering tips with Bilthamber touchless to achieve the correct PIR?
Yes, none of them were the correct, at least on my different pressure washers we tested on the Krenslas. None of them were accurate. I think I forget, you can go watch the hour-long video of us testing it out, but none of them gave me anywhere next to a 2% PIR, which is what I wanted. So you can't, it's harder to adjust and figure out exact ratios, so you're better off, I think, just not metering. Unless you get lucky and your pressure washer has the exact right flow rate, there's only 3 metering tips and they're not adjustable. So 3 different size metering tips. You don't have any minute adjustment. It's just change the size of the metering tip, and none of them were perfect.
Steve wants to know, can we get an update on 2 things? First, press-all tips, and second, microfiber 4.0.
Press-all expectation would be pre-order on February 15th, unless we get some guidance from them that they're behind. Right now, seem to be on track. So February 15th with a launch, hopefully delivery and shipping of March 15th.
And then microfiber 4.0 package?
I'm not sure about where we're at with that.
Hey, the Rad Company guys are coming next week, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get that answered early next week from those guys.
When will the M3 be fixed?
I'm not sure. In the next few weeks.
And is it not just going to be driven anymore since it'll be a display car?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to drive it some if I want it to work, but it won't get driven very much.
All right, let's see. Matt, thanks to the whole OG crew. Electricians finishing up putting 18 Cree CR60 1650 lumens in my basement today. Thanks to John and support, too. He has been great to work with. Very bright.
Nice.
Thanks, Jeff. Do custom length garden hoses have an extra charge other than just the length? For example, would a custom 74-foot garden hose possibly cost more than a standard 75-foot hose from the website?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, because we got to go and make it separate. And somebody's got to measure it differently, and we can't use our jigs and stuff like that. But, I mean, what is it going to be? $50 more and $30 more? I don't think it would be that much.
Or just buy the 75-footer and figure out something to do with that extra foot. That's what I would do. Let's see. It's nice to see you boys recording in a room that doesn't look like the interior of an early 90s bank building.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
A little different in here. Wanny wants to know, hey, Matt, do you use Lutron smart dimmers on outdoor lights at your house or just regular Claro smart switches?
No, yeah, I'm going to use generally, RAW 2 select, dimmers. So RRD Pros or Picos, which is the little remote control that communicates with RRD Pro. I want to control my whole house. It's on the longer list of things. I need to replace all my light switches with the Lutron stuff. But I'm definitely going to do that.
Alex wants to know, do we have an approximate date for the EU store?
No. No. Maybe sometime next year, 2026.
You'll like this one from BJ. He's watching from home after a tooth extraction this morning.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Figured a Matt rant would fix me up. Let's see what we can do, BJ. Hey, Matt. George wants to know, what's the square footage of your garage and which mini split size and model are you running?
So the Middleton garage is 24.5 feet deep by 31.5 feet wide. So what is that? So 24.5 times 31.5. So it's 772 square feet. I have... What is that thing? I think it's a 42,000 BTU dual head mini split. So I want to say it's 32,000. Let's see if it's 42. I don't know how it's separated out. So it's 42, and it's probably, say, the small one I think is probably an 18,000. 42. Let me think about this. I think it's probably a 24,000 BTU, which would be appropriate for the garage. So I think I have 24,000 BTU in the garage and then 18,000 BTU in the mudroom. I think that's probably how it's separated, and that's appropriate. So my size garage, that's the same size I have in Helen, so I undersize it a little bit, so it runs a little bit more, so it'll dehumidify a little bit better. But somewhere in the 18 to 32,000 BTU is what most garages will have. In the Lady Lake house, the garage is a little bit bigger than that. I think it was 900 square feet. That one had a 24,000 BTU as well, and it worked really well.
We have at least one person listening from Finland today, Juha. I won't pronounce your last name there, Juha, but he's following from Finland.
Nice. I'll be there. Maybe we'll do some sort of Finland meetup.
There you go. You and Juha.
Yeah, the two of us.
Zach says, hey, Matt, which would you recommend as someone's first Porsche? A 997 Carrera S or a 987 Cayman S, or would you wait a few years for the 991/718 generations to depreciate a little more?
Yeah, I think I would do the Cayman first. The Cayman S or Cayman GT4. I mean, if you go right to the 911, the Cayman makes less sense. So you'd have a nice, fun progression following that path. So that's what I would do. Cayman S, then an older Carrera S, and then you just kind of work your way up the ladder.
It looks like, what, 40 grand? Is that low, high?
Yeah. I mean, that's for like first gen Cayman.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Catwill wants to know, how will the tariffs with Canada affect OG Canada?
I don't know yet. I suspect they probably won't very much.
The Rag Company is listening and watching. They say, good afternoon, fellas. We'll see you soon.
Can you give us an update on Microfiber 4.0?
Yeah, Rag Company, chime in here.
Yeah.
Maverick says, Matt, any idea what kind of price point the different closet system options will run?
I mean, it's hard to range it for you because it depends on what your closet size is and how intricate you get. Let's say my master closet, the ultimate spec probably 10 grand. And then, down from there down to say, I think that closet we can probably do for like 3, but I'm ballparking here. I'm not 100% sure yet. We got some more work to do on the details and the particular, of what is my cost and what is, install versus shipping, all that kind of stuff. But, it's not going to be cheap. The material is like $120 a sheet or something like that. And so, but we're going to figure it out.
And does that vary by color, or is that kind of across the board?
I don't know. Like some of the sheets, like more like the gray was like $80 a sheet. A sheet is a 4x9, or I think 5x9 is the sheet size. And so like the gray version we chose, I think was $89 a sheet or something like that. So, hopefully maybe we'll be able to have, either we'll have a little less margin and have the expensive colors. I don't know how we're going to work that out. So we've got some work to do.
Paint a sample. That's what it is. Also, he had some kind words for me. Thanks, Maverick. I appreciate that. Kevin says, Matt, if you could have OG produce one detailing chemical that would be the best in class, which would you choose?
I mean, it'd have to be a soap, wouldn't it? I mean, you're going to use the soap more often than anything else. And you could, if you had just a good soap, you could kind of live without everything else. Think about when you first started washing your car, first started detailing. The only thing you use the soap to clean your wheels, to clean your tires, to clean the paint, to clean everything. And maybe you didn't have a wax or anything like that, but clear coat on its own is pretty durable. So I would have to choose the soap.
All right, Spencer, our buddy, says, hey, Matt, should I plan on booking a flight and a U-Haul to grab the ProSlat? New shop gets done in May, and those ProSlat cabinets would look very good in there.
Yeah, maybe. I think that I like them a lot, and I think that once I get my garage done and get it all organized, I'm sure I'll want to try something different at some point. So I probably won't change houses, but I'll change materials inside of the house. We'll see. Who knows?
Sartier29. Business question for you.
Okay.
Would you say that your target audience is in the $1 to $10 million net worth range or thereabouts?
No.
If so, do you spend any time focusing your content below or above that range?
No way. I mean, that's 1% of the 1%. No, I think the prototype customer for us is, somewhere in the 35 to 55-year-old range, $150K and up.
Male.
Which is, $100K and up, a year is what they're making. Now our design clients, they're probably closer to that. But there's an old adage, sell to the masses, live with the classes. So the epiphany of the pressure washing project, and there are progressions in life. I mean, my guess is I don't literally spend a lot of time looking at these demographics, but our average customer is probably 35, on average. We have a lot of younger guys that are buying T-shirts and buying soap and buying some of the stuff, working their way up. I get lumped into this sort of elitist area. I'm top-down selling, right? So I'm starting and showing you what the top is, and then talking you through what may or may not be, a viable option some level below the top. So Krensla is the top, AR, then, AR and Comet are in that sort of mid-tier, and then, a Karcher Cube is acceptable. Of course, then Active came into play, and I'm like, I definitely would have bought an Active had I been in a $75,000 a year lifestyle, or that's what I was making at, whatever age in life. So I think that although people we always assume that everybody has more than us, but remember, I'm selling to you guys that have a different value subset than most of the world. So you'll make sacrifices on some of these things to get what you want. Now, that may mean you need to make sacrifices in other areas of your life. Maybe you don't get to take the vacations that your neighbors take, but your neighbors don't have a Krensla. So I've made those decisions. I still make those decisions in life today. Like, where do you value, where do you put your dollars, your hard-earned dollars, where do you put it? And so that can apply to somebody making $35,000 might be buying GSF from us, But our target, the prototype, target customer, I think is that 35 to 55-year-old person, doesn't have to be male or female, who values doing things well. Steal that from Seth Turnbull. I value doing things well, and so you probably do too. And so you can't get all of the things that we're presenting to you. There's too many for most people. But that person that's in that $1 million to $10 million can get it all. They can buy all of it and then some. But the vast majority of people are making a value decision or value choice. I really like washing my car, so I'm going to invest in buckets and a pressure washer. I don't care about my kitchen faucet, right? Or I really value organization in my closet, and so I'm going to spend some money on that, and I'm going to sacrifice, washing my wheels, every week, because you don't care about that. I really value the home theater experience, and so I'm going to have a basic car. Look at Michael Stevens. He has a $300,000 home theater, and he drives an older Ford Explorer because he doesn't care about that. He values one thing. I'm one of the odd birds that I value probably too many things, and the obsession is strong in this one, and so I'm allocating resources. I'm also discovering, and I really enjoy that discovery process. So that's our target, I think. That 150,000 and up, with the we're still catering to really anybody at any socioeconomic status. If you pick one or two things that you value, even if you're just coming up.
So you got a super chat, another big super chat from our buddy MWF80.
Is he ever gonna disclose who he is? Thanks, man, for the
another hundo.
Is he ever gonna share
I think it's better this way.
Is it like Michael Walters,
MW,
Matt Wilson?
Could be Michael Waba.
Yeah.
Waba. And this is his 20th super chat on live stream.
Thanks, man. So that means probably giving us a couple grand.
Yeah,
thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Shame on you, John. When you were talking about Michael Stevens' car, he said, "Yeah, like Chris's car. Doesn't he have a Honda?" No.
So what is where do you allocate resources? That's disproportionate to the average or the mean.
Oh, in my experiences with
your life. Okay.
No, like if we go on a vacation, or if Megan and I go to a concert, I get the best tickets. We do the backstage thing.
So
that's my thing.
You'll splurge, or you'll go outside of 2 standard deviations above what the average would purchase, and because that's what you value.
Correct. Yeah.
And so you're not spending money on fixing your side view mirror because on your LS4 4 old lady. Yep. I saw someone driving in a white one, a little dinged up, and there's an old lady sitting up real tight to the steering wheel down in Middletown. I'm like, what's Chris doing down here?
Yeah, like a woman with fine
it was
taste.
White with same thing, white with tan interior, same thing. Yeah.
So I could fix the mirror, but I don't want to fix the mirror because that could go towards any number of other things.
Yeah. That was a great question, by the way.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
All right. Oh, someone said here, let me find it real quick, because the Rag Company replied to somebody else here. Oh, it's T-Self77. Also, what's the deal with the cheesy new thumbnails? I almost skipped over it thinking it was a Rag Company video. And then the Rag Company replied with a sad face.
I think they're experimenting with engagement on doing, goofy thumbnails versus not.
Let's see. Eurospec says, "Hey Matt, just curious. When ordering Pro Slat cabinets from OG, you're charged sales tax. Yet if I'm ordering directly from Pro Slat, I'm not charged sales tax. Can you chime in?"
Then they're probably doing something wrong there.
Yeah, I wonder where you're located, Eurospec. That may have something to do with it.
Yeah, because we don't have a choice, and they don't either. So I don't know. Maybe because they're shipping direct from Canada. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That's a good question.
Because we still have to collect Canadian provincial tax,
collect all that.
So, and pay, when we have to file a darn return in all the provinces. So, I guess they have theirs, aggregated, where you just pay to one spot, I think.
Greg wants to know, as a business owner, and not to get too political, but do you feel a lot more optimistic about the future of our new leadership?
Gosh, yeah. Now, I do think that there's going to have to be, we're going to have to pay the piper for all the nonsense that's been created over the last, however many years since, through the COVID disaster and through the last, 3 or 4 years. So I do think that, a recession, hopefully a recession will be more of like a culling, like a cleaning up, like a pruning. But I do think that we're due for some cleanup here. And some of the things they're going to have to do, make some hard choices, is going to involve some short-term pain for long-term gain. But yeah. Otherwise, the Republic wasn't looking so great long-term.
Sonny wants to know, how do you store your registration documents in the glove box? Folder, sheet protector?
I only have one, that's the only thing I have in there, and I just set it like on my, right, and I usually take the manual out of my car and put it in my filing cabinet. I don't want that extra weight, holding me down for all the driving I'm not doing.
Track time.
Yeah, but I just throw it in there.
And then, do you have any thoughts or recommendation on an under-sink RO water system?
Check out, what was the one I just sent? Echo, ECHO. I've been thinking about getting one of those. So Echo has one that looks pretty sweet. I think that's the one I sent. Yep. It's like $600. So it's not cheap. I don't have one. I got my Mountain Valley back yesterday. I already feel more hydrated. Except for my nephew, he found it. He's like, he's younger, and he found it, and he started, I didn't realize it, and he's just like, oh, cool, water, and he just starts filling up a giant glass. It's like $3 for every glass of water. I'm like, what are you doing? I know he's going to take one sip and throw it away.
Yep.
Like, get out of there. So I'm going to have to put a lock on it or something.
You need your normie water. Got to separate them. Let's see. And do you have any thoughts on home window heat rejection?
Tint would make a remarkable difference. There's giant, tons of, car window tinters. There are homes specialized, that guys that specialize in window tinting, like Martin does, homes now. It's more profitable, but that can make a huge difference.
Let's see. Forced induction drive. That's our buddy Kevin. Just had to pop in real quick to wish you all the best, Chris. You're always a pleasure to work with. It was great meeting you for a tour.
So you want to explain the story, or do you want to wait till the end?
Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay.
We'll wait.
All right.
Thanks,
Your
Kevin.
final farewell here is that what we're doing?
No, are we doing one next week? Are you going to be around next week?
I assumed that was your last day, that you'd be like, I'm out of here.
I'd rather do this than sit in my office and pretend to work.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. Nick says, I wonder if you'd be able to roll heavy wheels on the track tire jack if you lean it towards you, so it's on the front edge of the tire.
Yeah, there's like a sweet spot there, and I tried some different spots. It's not designed to operate a 37 or 40, but I still think that it's the best solution, because I just want to. I was able to get the wheel on pretty easily. You don't have to work for it, but work for it a lot less than using 2x4s or trying to like prop it up with your shins properly. Yeah. Especially on the 40s. On the 37s, I can get it up on there relatively, maybe not easily, but it makes it easy. And the Swiss Trax also kind of holds it up a little bit as well.
Now, I noticed something, by the way, in that video. Mm-hmm. So you got 40-inch tires. You have the mud terrain. Yeah. I thought you were anti-mud terrain. You wanted all-terrain.
Well, all-terrains are generally better, but they don't make a 40 all-terrain.
Makes sense.
They make a 39, and I didn't, an extra 1 inch. I didn't want to give up. And they don't look very good. Gotcha. So I'm just going to have to replace them more often.
DIY with Kane. Hey, Matt. Is there a Bill Tamber update? Any chance you might become the sole provider for all their products in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah, we are. So it's coming a little bit at a time. So our next batch should be coming here in the spring. We got to get with Pete to figure out what our next grouping, like the iron remover, the clay bars. What else are we bringing? Wheel cleaner, the soaps, all that. All of it will be here, and all of it will be readily available. We're working through the details there.
All right, our buddy Martin's chiming in here from Alligator Film Solutions about the $10 super chat. Thanks, Martin. If someone is great at auto tint, they most likely will be good at homes. The types of glass can affect which films you can use, but I would ask the tinter you trust, and they can guide you well. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Chris needs a car with wood paneling. No, John.
Doesn't your car have wood paneling inside?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's classy on the inside.
Yeah.
Let's see. Glad to see, says Nate, that the Snap-on gnome isn't lost. No, Nate, he's always somewhere.
Oh gosh, I hope you're taking that with you.
Let's see. Overall press all updates. White bottles, blue.
So the first batch, next year, I would guess, will all be the translucent, right? And so those are because they're all being fluorinated. So they'll be translucent, all black industrial head with the new seals, stainless steel tip, silicone tube with spring stays so the tube doesn't fall off. And then a weighted end, so it operates basically, upside down. And those are due the ones that due in March. And we'll have tips, we'll have heads, we'll have tubes, we'll have extra parts and pieces as well.
I got a 2-part question here. Requires a little explanation.
Okay.
So give me some time here. So this is from Brian Schwab.
Okay.
Number 1, has there been any thought in dedicating a team of talented people to run the Obsessed Garage YouTube channel, dedicating everything involving garages, cars? Second question, has Matt given any thought to that, including creating a secondary YouTube channel? And then I'm asking this because I think bringing on some young, talented people, what are you saying about Matt there, would modernize the channel and spike the amount of interest in younger folks. Lots of people have 2 channels.
So we're going to be creating the Obsessed Builds channel, which will be dedicated specifically to garage transformations. Right. I have just gotten a promotion in that I gave myself a promotion to I'm no longer going to do meetings ever.
Okay. Ever? Nice.
And I'm moving my meetings to 3. In order to meet with me, it's going to be between 3 and 5 p.m.
Okay.
Because the most creative space I have is right after I get back from the gym. And so I get back from the gym.
So that's 8:30, right?
So I get back from the gym at 10, cold plunge, eat something, eat some eggs. Do what I do, make some videos. I'm coming off a high of working out. I'm cold as crap. I want to go out, wash and talk, mess with tools, just do what I do, tinker, which I haven't been able to do very much the last few years because, we're building the infrastructure of the company. And then we always have the Mike and Mike project stuff, which also is a real additive to the channel. And so I want to get back to having daily videos, video every single day. The problem is that I'm kind of an odd bird, right?
It's true.
And so there's kind of I don't mean this has come across the wrong way. Like I'm kind of hard to replicate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so there's an expectation, I think, for the people that matter the most, which are the core people who are really bought into Obsessed Garage, whether they're staying in Helen, they're coming to visit, they're wearing our T-shirt. That core person who generally doesn't comment very much. They're probably watching this now, and it may have never commented. Commenters are important too because it helps create engagement. But the core Obsessed Garage target person we were just talking about earlier generally isn't participating. They're participating in the background. And so they want to hear what I have to say. Otherwise this thing no one would be here. And so I don't think that developing other personalities makes a whole lot of sense. But other than developing, the next star will be the garage. And so Obsessed Builds, Obsessed Shorts still needs to exist for the website, so as we have a whole nother crop of new products coming. And so the Obsessed Shorts will also be, an important adder. That will never be like a big subscriber base, but it's more of to be able to embed on the website and have those resources available to you. That would be the Nicks and the Tommies and the Johns and the Tims of the world that would get on camera and show you how to do something very specific to the website. But the Obsessed Garage channel is and always will be basically the vlog of my life. And obviously products, cars, garages are my life, And so then the family, the behind the scenes, the business is on the Inside the Hex platform. So I don't think that that me, bringing in a bunch of people, like Linus has done. We brought in a bunch of people to, mainly just because of their their reach. They have different experts. I wouldn't say never, but at this point, the goal is to free me up to be able to continue to tinker and play in the garage and share my thoughts on things, and that I think will be an important part of the the future of what we're creating. And then maybe someday, but I'm not ready to hang it up yet. So I actually want to do more of that, just playing with stuff in the garage.
J-Man wants to know, what's the best Kelvin color to use for the living room, bathroom, and bedroom in a modern home?
Yeah, I mean, if it's modern and you have a lot of grays and whites and stuff like that, I want 3500 Kelvin. If you're doing, if you have a lot of wood tone stuff, a lot of yellows, then you'd want 3K. But it's either 3K or 3500K for me. I think if you go to 4K, it gets a little too on the, the office look. So like this is 7,000. Is what we're at here. It's very blue.
T-Self has a question about decon wash. Other than as a prep before polishing and coating, when is it appropriate to use a decon wash?
I mean, if you have a solid coating, so our current decon wash, and I'm kind of on the hunt for something to replace it. A current decon wash is not stripping a coating. It's not really putting a dent in it. It's going to strip your drying aid and your waxes and the sealants, which of course we're not using very much. The decon soap I've been reluctant to retire in my process because it's so good. Super slick, foams really well, does a good job of kind of stripping my coating in preparation for polish. But you can also use it kind of like you probably might want to use Reset for this, but you can also use it to kind of reset the paint, reset the coating, get your drying aid or get your topper off, and then kind of clean it up a little bit. But generally speaking, I'm not going to use it unless I'm going to polish.
Nick wants to know, when we get design up and running down in Middleton, do you have an idea of how much installers will make? He'd love to be a part of the install team.
I don't know yet. I was actually just talking with Jared from Pro Closets about this. Do they are their guys, salaried or hourly, or are they paid by the job? I think it's going to be dependent on the person. And so if you have somebody who's motivated by that, the chase of, hey, if I'm doing an $8,000 job and I can do that, in 2 days, whereas, a counterpart that's hourly takes them 4 days and I can do 2 of those $8,000 jobs, I'd be inclined to pay that person a percentage of the job, 30, 35, 40, 50%. I don't know what that number is, what our overhead cost is. But generally, as the company, you need a margin on your labor, right? So I need to make a profit on my labor, and then you can pay out, pretty well on that. So let's say that if a person's able to do, let's say you're able to generate, I don't know, say $20,000 a week in labor. So that would be, I don't think that would work. If you're $100 an hour. There's no way you could do 200 hours worth of labor in a week, right?
That's kind of
so. Let's think about this more realistically. Okay. So if you're $100 an hour,
okay,
and you're able to do, and let's say you're more efficient, and you're able to do, say, you're 50% more efficient than what we're charging. So you're able to do 40 out in your 40 hours. You're able to do 80 hours worth of work, right? What we charged for. So that's $8,000 in labor a week, and let's say we're paying out half of that. That's $4,000 a week. That's $16,000 a month. What is that? $180,000 a year.
192.
Yeah. So I don't think that would be unreasonable for like a really killer installer who maybe had some like a plumbing license or something like that as well. And then possibly you'd get some bonuses and stuff for running a team or something like that. So I think that the rank and file guys are going to make somewhere around $50,000. 35 to $75,000 depending on their skill level. So that what's that going to be? And I think most of them are probably going to be hourly. So say 20 to 30, 40 bucks an hour. 20 to 40 bucks an hour, something like that. So I think that it's probably going to start for a lot of guys. It's going to be like a $50,000 or $60,000 a year job. But if you had some real skills and we set you up on a per job basis, I mean, you'd be taking a risk because I don't know how many jobs we're going to have. But I do think it could be a $100,000 to $200,000 a year type killer installer long term. Where you have a truck and you have tools and you have an allowance and you have we can make it a pretty lucrative career choice to go install switch tracks flooring and be installing sonic cabinets and doing pressure washer installs. I do think that pathway does exist. In the beginning, I think I could be convinced if you think you can really help. I just don't know what it's going to look like yet. So we're starting with Justin and Trevor, and then we're gonna go from there and start to build teams from those guys.
All right, Ben, who asked about the custom garden hose earlier, said the 74-foot garden hose was just an example, Chris. I'm actually trying to figure out between a custom 85-foot or a stock 100-foot hose.
Do we have custom options on the site? Good.
Tim says yes, so I believe him. Yeah, I'd get the 100. Or if you buy an 85-footer, Ben, I will go help make it. I'll tell you that. I'll go over and help Ken and mess it up. Let's see. Jeff says, have you made progress on reducing the shipping time on the Cree Lighting LS series?
I think we're down to like 4 or 5 weeks with our goal to have it in stock. So I think that we've gotten it from like 12 or 14 weeks down to 4 or 5.
It's certainly gotten better.
Yeah, and so I'm not sure where we're at. This is all the things that we're kind of digging into right now on the having it in stock.
Purdy Auto Pros says, hey, Matt, when comparing every DA that you carry and have tested, which produces the least amount of noise, or better yet, the least annoying? Can be corded or wireless.
Well, I mean, the Mirka is not even close, right? And then you probably Rupes Mark V. It's smoother. So but by a mile now they only make a 3-inch is the Mirka.
Let's see. Graydon says, hey Matt, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
These are both about DI. On the new OG DI system, it has the hose reel mount that can turn left and right.
Correct.
Is that going to be for sale without the full system?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we should have that up in the store in the next week or 2.
Okay. Yeah. Also, is there going to be a single option of the new OGDI system? Is it wall mounted or does it just go on the floor? And how much do you think it's going to cost?
So single for sure. That'll be duals are going to be much less common.
Yeah, most people.
The single is there's a cleat system, so you can mount a cleat to the wall and sort of hook it onto there to mount to lock it in place. There will be where you can buy the whole system with the shelf and everything, or you can buy just the DI. So there can be different options. My guess is if you did custom install, like what is our custom install, like $3,800 or something like that, with the piping and the CR and everything. My guess it's just going to be within a couple $100 of that. But we still have, we just did some finalizing yesterday. So I think that, I think it's going to be somewhere in that sub $4,000 range with the Krenzla and the hose and all the fittings and the whole thing dialed. In the beginning, we're going to be shipping it fully assembled on a pallet. So, or as fully assembled as we can on a pallet. You might have to put the back piece on. So I think we've discovered a few things. Rusty says we're not as close as I think we are. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, let's see here. Baloo, our buddy down in Wildwood, says he wants to make the thumbnails goofier. Rad Company says, heck yeah, we're currently operating at a goofy deficit. I'll get right to work on that. Hey, Matt, Invasion HD wants to know, have you ever heard of Swidget? Not too sure if it's something you'd be interested in. They sell smart outlets, wall switches, dimmer switches, and inserts.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
It has the word smart in it related to the home.
Yeah, everything's dumb about smart. I'll check it out. I don't know.
All right. Let's see. An MWF 80. Oh, we got half right. The Michael, his first name.
Okay,
Right,
good.
so
We're
we're
getting there. Every time we'll get a little more. He'll like reveal, you know. Remember Major League, where every game they win, take off a piece of clothing.
All right.
I tell you what, man, I'm loving my freaking Kaleidoscape. I love it even more that everybody else hates it. Oh, it's so good. What did I watched?
What'd you watch most
Hunger
recently?
Games.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen any of the Hunger Games? They're great.
No.
The first one. Let's see, what else did I watch here recently? I still haven't gotten. I've been watching Reagan. It's not very good. I'm getting through like maybe a quarter of it at a time. What else did I watch recently? Adventures in Babysitting. You ever watch that movie?
Man, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
seen
great.
that a long time. Man.
Yeah, Sicario.
Yeah, I can.
That's great. Great movie.
So do you just every night you go home and before you watch one you buy 10 more?
Yeah, I always look. What am I missing?
Yeah. You got to get the whole
I think
collection.
I'm gonna watch Demolition Man tonight.
Oh man, I've seen that one.
I can't wait to have my home theater upstairs.
Let's see, Wani or Wanny. Matt, following up on the Lutron question, do you recommend getting dimmable switches for outdoor lights or no dimmable?
I'm putting them all on a dimmer. You know, so I want a dimmer on every single light, just in case.
Wendy's is in the chat. How about that? Home of the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. They even have the cup.
When's the last time you've had Wendy's?
Oh man, years.
I had
Wendy's
it.
in a long
Let's
time.
see, Ryan. I think he was.
The burgers are decent. I haven't
Let's
been in a
see.
long
We were somewhere out in like north of Ocala, in the swamp up there. And we were. It was a football game, but I think he was probably 6U. He's 14 now.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago, and it was probably 8 years before that, and it was so gross. I just threw it away. Michelle, Ryan's like, I'm starving. So Michelle, we were going to Wildwood. They were playing at Wildwood yesterday, so we went there, and Michelle got him Hardee's because that's the only thing in town. So we went all the way there, ordered the Hardee's. He took one bite and threw it away.
Yeah, I can't do Hardee's.
It's gross.
Wendy's at least has like a Frosty. You can get a Biggie Fry.
Even that grosses me out.
Man, now I might have to go. I haven't been in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to what did Wendy's actually ask here? What's the biggest drawback to rinseless wash system in 2025?
Is the cracks, the crevices, the wheel wells, the the wheels, the cleaning, like actually getting a quality clean. So then people are like, well, I don't understand. I use the pressure washer and then I do rinseless. Great. If I'm doing that, I'm getting the frickin' soap out. So the disadvantage to a rinseless to me is that unless you're willing to get like super dirty, like you're doing a very superficial clean in comparison to a soap and bucket wash.
I got a couple of movie suggestions here for you.
Okay.
From Neil White.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I need to buy that. When I want to watch Out for Justice, Steven Seagal. That's a movie right up your alley right there.
Seagal. Oh, man.
Out for Justice. That's what I watched.
Under Siege 2 was the first ever R-rated movie.
Under Siege 2 is not available on Kaleidoscape
I could
yet.
never do a Kaleidoscape then. That's it.
Yeah, it hasn't been updated for the Strato V. It's available, but not for Strato V.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bloodsport.
Oh,
That's
yeah. That's a great one. I gotta buy that.
BJ, our buddy with the messed up tooth extraction there. Yellow Wendy's was so much better than it is today. Like the yellow boxes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
MW Michael's something says In-N-Out is the best burger for fast food. I like In-N-Out.
Wendy's was like my dad's, Ken Mormon's jam, man. You can talk to him about Wendy's.
Get them all riled up.
What did they get? It was like the club, chicken club or something like that. That was their jam.
They used to have like a baked potato bar too back in the day.
And we'd complain because we want to go to McDonald's, and my dad is all about the Wendy's, man. You got to ask him about it.
Oh man,
he's a Wendy's jonesing for some Wendy's.
El Jefe, Wendy's chili hot sauce on the fries. It's divine.
That sounds gross.
Oh yeah, that's a recipe.
I
for
can't
the disaster. Later.
I can't even eat it. Like, I mean, Chick-fil-A I can do.
Okay.
Chipotle's dead to me now.
Double. Hey, you got to go 4x4, Neil.
I mean, I really like Five Guys.
Yeah, I do too. It's a good burger.
Yeah, in Five Guys comparison to In-N-Out, I understand the In-N-Out thing because you kind of if you grew up on it, it's probably nostalgic and it's decent. But I think Five Guys is way better. I just don't get. I get the In-N-Out thing. I don't have the In-N-Out thing. You know, I've only eaten there 3 or 4 times in my life, and it's like this is like mediocre at best.
How about Whataburger?
I've never eaten there.
It's my dad loves Whataburger. Let's see.
But anyway, I was getting at like my snobbery is so high that like I can't even eat it like Outback or Carrabba's or like even Bonefish. I'm losing it. I need to be going to like Michelin star restaurants now.
We've got several of them here in the Lady Lake area.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Thanks, Wendy's. That provided a whole new discussion that we were not expecting there. Let's see. Brian Lauterbach says, "Yeah, can we please not do the stupid thumbnails? It doesn't fit the OG image." Oh, Brian. Struck a nerve there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. John would love to see you jump into the smart home aspect. That's not going to happen, John.
There's nothing smart about smart home. It's for like poros. It's like the white trashian way to pretend that you're doing something better when you're really doing it worse. I don't need to talk to Alexa. First of all, Alexa would be a terrible option. Android-based, buying junk, and it's listening to you the whole time, which is nonsense.
Yep.
I just don't get it, man. I don't need my light bulbs to talk to my blender. I don't need my blender to talk to my pool pump. And I don't need to. I set my thermostat at a temperature. Why do I need to? I don't need to hook up to my thermostat. Just turn it on to 73 and leave it there forever. I don't get it.
Yeah. Just think about how they talk about you while you're gone too.
Yeah.
Nothing
I
good.
do like, so I like the Lutron app, so I can say, hey Siri, turn off my lights, kind of thing. That is kind of nice to have. I'm gonna blow up everybody's lights, but yeah, I don't need that. I don't want it. All it does is create problems.
So we have a Amazon Fire TV that my brother-in-law bought us because he wanted a giant TV. And
I don't even know what that means. It just all I think is poor and stupid.
Harper figured out, we didn't realize we've had it like a year now, that it has Alexa on there. So she figured out that she could talk to Alexa. So now that's all she does. She just walks by, Alexa, turn on. Alexa, turn off. Alexa, pause. It's awful.
I just think it's like you're like, poor you for having to deal with such. It's just so goofy.
How about an above ground pool to go with it? Is that what you would, Neil, suggest?
Yeah, you're like, I gotta hey Alexa, turn my above ground pool temperature down. I don't understand. Just leave the pool alone. What does the pool ever do to Alexa? Just leave it alone.
Lightly Seasoned appreciated your blender to pool pump. He thought that was genius. Oh man!
And then neither of them will work, and your blender doesn't work, and your pool doesn't work. So now nothing works. It makes no sense to me.
Good stuff. All right. Trevor says, it was nice chatting with you when you visited Free America, parentheses, Idaho. He's a longtime fan.
Hey, I'm in Free Florida, buddy.
Yeah. I've never been to Idaho. Need to go.
It's nice.
Let's see. Kai says, huge fan, Matt. Look up to your success and look forward to using my hard work to get to your level in my 10-year plan.
Nice.
Excellent, Kai.
Hope you can get there in 5 years.
Matt and Goofy clearly go together. Please keep the thumbnails. Jack says hello from freezing Scotland.
Those are my people. My people. I need to go there someday.
James says, I love the gauntlet towel for drying my cars.
Oh, you know what I watched recently? It was good. First Night.
Oh, man.
Remember that Sean Connery?
Yeah, I saw that at the
Richard
drive-in.
Gere.
Yeah. That's
weird. Yeah. That's how I can keep Michelle awake when you watch some nonsense like romantic, whatever. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm trying to watch Lord of the Rings. She falls asleep in the first 10 minutes, and then I have to go rewatch the last 20 minutes that I didn't realize she's asleep. And I've already seen this 5 times. I don't want to watch it again 5 times to watch it once. She's killing me.
So you need 90s kind of
romance. That's why, when we watch, Adventures in Babysitting, she's wide awake, and I'm, waking up. Wide awake.
All right, so back to James. I love the gauntlet towel for drying my cars.
Okay.
But have you found a similar but larger version towel for human use?
I have not. I use front gate towels. You got to wash them at least 5 times before they start really performing. But yeah, Front Gate Hotel Collection. That's from Troy Reed, honor the source here. He turned me on to those several years ago. The only problem is our water's kind of janky in Middleton, so our white towels are turning kind of yellow. Even bleaching them. So I got to figure that out.
DIY with Kane with regard to the Built-Hammer discussion said, awesome that you're carrying all of them. Auto wash, please. Is that like their soap?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Are you still working with Gary Brecka? Kevin wants to know.
No. I mean, I only got to talk to him for $10,000 for an hour. It didn't get me anywhere. What happened is, I'm pretty sure, and I knew this, so the 10X relationship, he severed the 10. He's no longer 10X. He's Ultimate Human. So 10X was Grant Cardone, and then it was a terribly run organization. And so I could get to him, and then I got and then he'll have a clinician, he'll have a doctor that's on the call with him. So when the doctor can prescribe what he's suggesting, and so I forget what the prescription was, but I could never get him to follow up and execute. And I eventually just gave up. So maybe I should reach out to him again someday. He knows that it wasn't really his fault. It was the handlers were taking all the money and not hiring the people that they needed to support it. So don't do anything 10X Health. He's no longer attached to that. So, and 10X Health was a disaster.
Neil says, hey, Matt is a Sean Connery fan. Check out the movie Dragonheart, where he voices a talking dragon. It's a classic. Let's see. Oh, we turned someone's lights off by saying Alexa. Sorry about that.
Go throw that thing away.
All right, sorry. I'm lost in the movies and in and out now.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, you really opened up Pandora's box here.
Getting ready to do... Oh, this is our buddy Yo Kenny R. Getting ready to do CSL and XL on my car for the second time.
Okay.
When you say polish before doing it again, do you mean compounded polish or just polish?
Oh, I think it depends. I mean, you just have to do a test spot, see how you're looking. If you can just polish with like Perfect Finish or something simpler, Rupa's Yellow or something like that, then just do that. But usually, if you've, did he say he was already coated and he's reapplying it? I mean,
just said he's doing it for the second time. I don't know if it's
I mean, you're probably going to need to do like a compound to get it off. Like on the Raptor, I had to compound it to get it off, and then there really wasn't any scratches because I've washed the Raptor like 2 times since I coated it. But I needed to get the coating off, so I had to compound it with Griot's fast correcting cream. I just didn't have to make a lot of passes.
Let's see. Ooh, you'll appreciate hearing this from Trevor. Started watching in 2014 when I had a beat to heck 2002 Jeep Cherokee. GT4 RS allocation delivery in May 2025. Thanks for the inspiration over the years.
See, I mean, going back to the discussion of the customer, right? Who is the customer? He probably wasn't. He probably early on didn't buy a lot of stuff in the beginning, but now he's clearly making some money if you're buying a $200,000 car. And so that's kind of the point, is to progress with people.
John says, I've been following you for years. Way back, I watched some videos and was like, this guy is too stuck up, and moved away from the channel. Then came back 2 to 3 years ago. He's still stuck up, John. It's okay. I get it now. Thanks for steering me in. There you go. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that initial reaction, and maybe someday I'll figure out how to stay me and not have that happen. But when you're saying what is so, and you're saying it without sugarcoating, oftentimes I can kind of get you in trouble with some people. Like that darn Pro Eagle jack that a lot of people talk me into buying. This was the straw that broke the camel's back for me on dealing with comments anymore. It's time for me to move on from I spend at least, I would say, an average of 2 hours a day just following up on that, and it's 2 hours a day I don't really have anymore, and so I've been deathly afraid of losing that engagement, right? Losing that, but realizing that not everybody is a commenter. In fact, most people are not a commenter. And so if I get somebody who's a lot nicer, they can probably do a better job of following up on the comments. So since I really don't, the resources I have and the relationships I've developed now and the people that I have around me will provide me more feedback than I can handle already. So getting feedback at scale via the comments is not as constructive. And that was evidenced by, 10 people saying you should get the Pro Eagle jack. I didn't think anything of it. I just bought it, and it's hot garbage. So they were marketed to. They were sort of duped into buying this thing, and I followed suit. And that's when I knew that, okay, comments from a product perspective, I don't need it. It's been very helpful in the beginning. And I'm probably miss out on something. So I was thinking about this. I talked about this on the Inside the Hex on the Figuring Out Mentorship podcast. So if I spend 2 hours a day following up on comments, 7 days a week, it's 14 hours a week. And let's say that 14 hours a week, once every 6 months, I get some really good recommendation, some really good idea that somebody had, made comment on. But I'm also getting a lot of negative feedback that's like you got to sift through. And negative feedback doesn't really, I enjoy the sticking it back to them, but it doesn't really, I'm sure it affected me more in the beginning, but not so much, now that I've been dealing with it for over a decade. So if I just take that 14 hours and I get 2 suggestions a year that become really valuable, if I took that 14 hours on my own and went and invested that time in chasing and learning and trying and playing with products, that the math ain't mathin'. I'm likely gonna find 30 things. So I lost 2 to gain 30. And then if I can have somebody responsible following up for the commenters to keep them engaged, and cleaning up the bots, that go in there, and also what am I going to gain by? I remember seeing somebody commented in here earlier who I noticed a bunch of negative comments recently. I probably would have turned him off. He probably wouldn't be here right now, because I would have just said, screw you. You suck too. So if we remove that from the equation, I also give people the opportunity to hang around more than me doing my normal matter-of-factness, which, no, you're completely wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about. Instead, I'll have somebody nice saying, you bring up a good point, and give them a chance to come around like the other guy said. Give them a chance to come around versus, blowing them up for life. And then they never can come back after I insult them in some form or fashion by being direct to the point.
Speaking of insulting, I always love it when QuickJack is in the chat. And they say, hello from your favorite first and only freebie product that you never enjoyed.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like that. Our own Nick Nassar says, my mom has Alexa in every room of their house. It's the most aggravating thing on earth, and it never works. The only thing it can do consistently well is set a timer.
And maybe order paper towels for you, just the wrong ones. Yeah.
My dad taught Harper that you can also ask it to make fart noises, and so try that with your Alexa.
Gosh, you need to get rid of that. It's just, the few people, the OG people that are in the know, and you go over somebody's house. Like, I don't want to judge anybody, but you can't help it. It's like immediate IQ reduction of like 30 points. I'm like, well, I thought Chris was a math professor, but he's not very sharp. He's got a freaking Amazon Alexa in his house. By the way, there is one in my house now.
Oh.
Kate got the Dot or whatever. It's the light.
Oh, yeah, the little Amazon Dot.
The fact that you know what that is troubling to me.
I don't have one.
Troubling.
Only our TV that I didn't realize till a week ago. So now I'm going to order paper towels. Stephen wants to know, will Hex members have first crack when it comes to press-all parts and such?
Yes.
Taylor, when are press-alls coming to Canada?
We'll probably be on the second batch. We may send some up there, but probably on the second container order, which, depending on how the pre-order goes, may be pretty quickly. So I would say a couple of months after the U.S.
AT wants to know, have you ever thought about getting a classic muscle car just for display? I watched a video of you and your dad/family and his muscle car.
I've certainly thought about it over the years, but the problem is what I would want would be like Joe Rogan's, Roadster shop. My buddy's at the Roadster shop, and it's $600,000. So that wouldn't be smart.
George, on the new DI system, do I need 2 cabinets for the dual Crensley, or can one cabinet provide enough flow for both pressure washers?
It would provide enough flow, but you'd need 2 unless you're going to mount the darn pressure washer somewhere, because it can flow 10 gallons a minute. So you could do it off of 1 tank. What you would do is you just mount them on shelves on the wall, and then just do the standalone tank.
Movie suggestion on Planes,
Ooh.
Trains, and Automobiles.
Yep, I just bought that. I don't think I've ever seen it or the whole thing anyway.
John Candy, I think. I know that one. Snowpiercer.
I should get that.
Never heard
the
of that
TV
one.
show. It's like the plane. It's a train that goes like high speed because the world ends and everything's frozen, and so it's a train that just moves and everybody lives on it.
Alexa, remind me to watch Snowpiercer. Right. Hey Matt, I appreciate if you can't, but can you say who will be the UK distributor for the new Press-All bottles and metal tips?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Scott
Probably John at Clean and Shiny, but I haven't called him yet, so I got to call him. And I talked to him about it originally, but I hadn't nailed this down.
Brandon suggests Culver's Butterburgers. In the Culver's?
They're not bad. Yeah.
They're decent.
And
they always have
obviously
good service.
the cheese curds are world class, delicious.
Alex wants to know what's currently keeping you up at night, if anything. Well, tonight he's got a lot to think about here.
Obviously driving.
Movies.
Always do I have enough money, but I sleep pretty well. And then allergies woke me up the other night. I couldn't believe it. I haven't had them at all. And then, I was freaking nose running, sneezing crazy. Michelle's so mad at me. But then I took Claritin. Works like magic for me. It's awesome.
Baloo says the Wildwood Hardee's is especially extra gross.
Oh, yeah. There was one person working there and not a single person in the parking lot at 5 p.m. Just gross. I'm like, what do we do? I'm like, there's no way he's going to eat this. She's like, he's hungry. He needs to get something.
Yeah. Find out how hungry he is.
So she called him and said, all we have is Hardee's. I was like, I don't want Hardee's, but okay, I'll take it. And then whatever it was, $10 just got thrown, 1 bite thrown away. I'm like, God dang it. The water bottle, it couldn't even do an Aquafina water bottle right. It had a little pinhole. I didn't realize it. It looked like I peed myself because I'm holding it, and there's like a little pinhole in the bottom of it. And just dribbling water. I'm like, what the? How is it even possible?
They set you up there. El Jefe, what software is used for garage design at OG? I'm looking for compatible formats so I can supply something I've started to get finished.
Just get Home Designer. So we're using Chief Architect. So I don't have Chief Architect because it's like $2,000 a year. And so I have Home Designer. So I'll mock stuff up and then send it to the guys, and they can easily up convert. You just can't down convert as much. I can view all the home design, all the Chief Architect stuff. I just can't edit it in Home Designer. Home Designer is like $80, and it's actually really nice to have.
Let's see, Maverick. Oh yes, John Candy and Steve Martin and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Thanks. I thought so. CC Details. So my shop is about 1,200 square feet.
Okay.
Looking to possibly invest into a mid-sized scissor lift or something for PPF/detail. What would you suggest? Would like it to be moved around if possible, but not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Nussbaum Sprinter. I mean, it's still like 1,200 pounds, so it's not easy to move, but you can move it, not with ease, but you can move it around. It has like a little wheel that you stick under it and prop it up and kind of yank it around with a couple of people. But that's 100% the one to get. 40-inch in height. You don't have to bolt it to the ground if you don't want to. It's amazing.
Stephen wants to know, will there be a retrofit kit or conversion kit to go from original DI to your new DI?
100%. I mean, that's where the big money is. I've got to figure that out to where you can pull out your CR, put this in, and have it be clean and simple with your hose reel and your pressure water that's already on the wall. I mean, we've sold thousands of those. And so we're going to have a the goal. So the goal to this, and Colby, my friend Colby from Sonic Tools, put this together, framed this perfectly for me. He's like, look, I love what you guys do, but I'm not you. And I want the on-wall system, but it's just too many parts. It's too complicated. I want to be able to just have this black box with everything self-contained, and I can hire a plumber, and I can point to him and say, get water to that. That's what we're hoping to solve. Get water to that. Done.
Let's see here. Is Built-Hamber autoclay coming? Mopar wants to know.
Yeah, we're going to bring the whole line. I don't know about. We'll probably bring the epoxies and stuff like that as well. Pete may change direction on that. He may find a separate distributor for that specifically, like all the epoxies and body shop type stuff that he's developed, the rust inhibiting stuff. But we're essentially going to have builthamber.com, and you're going to be able to go to it. It'll geofence you, and then we'll just fulfill it from here. We'll ship it from here.
Bruce in the chat said he had the same experience as you when it comes to the Pro Eagle. Sent mine back after a day. Did you send yours back?
It works. It's just that I listened to everybody. I clicked on it. I ordered it. I got it, and it's just Harbor Freight. You might as well just buy the Harbor Freight jack because it's the same Chinese knocked off with their stickers on it. It's just highly marketed. It's a $200, $600 jack. And I'm happy to pay more, double for like an actual like high quality piece of equipment. It works. It's got plastic wheels on it. It's just it's. I don't care if it's made in China, if it's like engineered and done well. It's just not. It's just the same crap, just with a different sticker on it that happens to reach a little bit higher. And so, I'm sorry I got duped, and so did everybody else who said it's the one to get because they're watching too many YouTube reviews on things and people don't know what they're frickin' talking about. So I have a 4-ton. No, we're going to try the 2-ton AC hydraulic with an adapter, extension adapter that's like a long reach version, and so that's what I'm gonna test out and. They have jacks that'll do it. I just have to get the right one.
Mike77 wants to know active 2.0 or 2.3. I don't remember you coming back to review the 2.3.
No, 2.3 is terrible. No. If you're going to buy the 2.3, buy the AR630 or get a Comet.
Progression_decibel. Matt, I know you're primarily a 3500K light guy.
Yep.
Have you tried DMF's Warm to Dim M series or the Artifacts?
Yes.
Series?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that warm dim business. I want it to be fixed color temp and stay with it. Because as you dim it, it gets, it goes down to 2K, 2700K. I tried it. I don't like it.
He then follows up and says he's redoing the master bath, and I'm getting DMF soon. Can't freaking wait. Thank you for dealing their product.
It's really nice, especially if you're doing a small room like that. It can cost you $1,000 in lights, and you'll have them forever. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I like the Crees, but now have the Crees in there, I'm like, oh shoot, I kind of want to swap it all out for DMF again. Especially, I'll certainly do that in the kitchen when I go to do my fancy cabinets. Michelle not wanting me to tear the kitchen out, but I'm gonna have to. Wolf Sub-Zero, they're coming to visit us next week. If we become a Wolf Sub-Zero dealer, we've got to get it going.
Scott Mitchell says, "Stop saying Alexa. My house is going crazy right now."
This would be a good time for you to go. Just take it all, rip it out, and throw it away.
Captain Sven says, "Hi Matt, greetings from Belgium.
Nice.
How come using warm water isn't a thing in car detailing? I mean, dishwashers, washing machines, it's all about warm water to clean deeply."
No, warm water's better. Shoot, my friend John Clevin, who owns S-Tech USA and also Metropolitan Detail, he's a boiler and hot water pressure washer guy through and through. I mean, it does make for a better experience. The problem is that most people don't have the ability to get that hot water to their spot unless you're building a house. I don't know if Mike has done mine. My water heater's right there. Just call him right now. Let's see what he says. I bet you just finished it. I'm going to drive him off a cliff here.
Tell him not to curse.
He never has his phone on him anyway. It's always laying somewhere on the ground, half broken. No. Oh,
Yep.
You're on the podcast.
Okay, what's up?
You know, since my water heater's right there,
What do you want to do? Hot water your pressure washers?
should we think about? Yeah, I don't. Should we? I don't know about with the pressure washers, but with the bucket filler.
Yeah, we could do that. We could. You have the hot cold mixer prior. We could do.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, we could do it.
Yeah, you didn't already cut the.
Caught me before I put. Nope. I just finished electrical. So
We were hoping to send you off the deep end here.
no deep end. No, I can do it.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll bring. We'll see if I have one. I'll bring one of them home. What length do I need? Do I need close coupled, or do we need the 4-inch?
4-inch is fine. Yeah, because I'm gonna make the connection in the wall, so that's fine.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, actually, if we did the pressure washer with our because we can't do hot water with the DI system.
No. Not
Yeah.
Ideally, no.
Yeah, we'll nuke it. Okay, that answers that.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, you really only need it on your bucket filler anyway.
Thanks to the guys for they were just suggesting they're asking why don't we don't do hot water. I'm like, I bet you we could probably do
Captain Sven.
it. Yeah.
We sure.
And the reason that most people don't do it is because your water heater is usually somewhere else.
Yeah, yours is 10 feet away.
Right. Yeah. We got to cut. We got to cut that line anyway. So. Yep. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
No problem.
See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Here we go.
That's gonna be great.
Sven from Belgium. Thank you for that.
So we're gonna go, I think, to Netherlands so we'll have Pressall in Netherlands here. I would say again a couple of months after we launch here in the U.S. is my plan. So to be able to provide the whole EU with Pressall.
And then a couple of folks asked, are the Pressalls finally dialed? So what exactly is making them awesome? What's the key differences here?
Fluorinated bottles means that products won't panel or seep through.
Like Tarex.
Also makes it so that our labels will stick better. We have a new adhesive on the labels as well. We have a new seals in the head, which are much more resistant to higher alkaline things. We have a new stainless steel tip that won't split and also atomizes better. We have a new silicone tube, so the tube is loose instead of being rigid, so it will operate, and then we have a weight on the end with a filter on the end, so it operates upside down because it'll kind of flop around. And then the tube is spring loaded. We have little spring clips on the top and bottom of it, so it doesn't fall off. Because some like slick chemicals like drying aid, we had this hard plastic tube, and they'd sometimes just fall off because it was just pressure fit. And so when you have this real slick area on the end of on the inlet to the sprayer, you'd end up with that issue. Well, we won't have it on this round, but we'll have squeeze bottles on the next container, and then gallons probably the one after that. It's gonna be sick. So good.
Matt D, not doing bucket filler through the DI?
No, I don't. First of all, you're gonna rifle through. Because remember, your pressure washers are doing 2 gallons a minute generally, 4 in my case. Whereas if you're flowing straight through and you're filling up 12 gallons of water in your buckets, I just don't see the major benefit to it. Now we're going to offer that as an option for people who want it, but I don't want DI water. I don't need DI water in my buckets. The other thing is my buckets are I'm going to put soap in there, and the soap is going to naturally bring the pH to neutral. So the soap will offset any kind of issue there with hard water, most hard waters. If you have extremely hard water, you should probably have a softener in your house anyway. So I have a softener first. So I'm using softened water, but not DI water. So, but it's not a terrible thing to have. I just didn't want it in my house. I don't feel like I need it.
All right, we'll end with this one. Hey, there's my buddy Ken from Publix. Hey, Ken. From Trevor, I think you'll like hearing this. And this can lead to, I'll share some news here as we close out. We'll be back next week, hopefully, but Matt may bail, so I'll be here. Trevor says, one often overlooked but highly valuable aspect of Obsessed Garage is its exceptional ability to attract and recruit top talent. The brand's ability to cultivate a dedicated, engaged audience not only fosters a passionate community, but also creates a unique business advantage by drawing potential employees who are genuinely invested in the company's mission and culture. And I think he speaks to something really awesome there, because if you think about all the people who have come here over the years, like they come from all over the country, Idaho, Utah, New York, Tennessee, everywhere. And part of the reason they come here, and they're mostly young, makes it a little bit easier. But like he says, it's a passionate community, and they actually care about, hey, I know I'm an OG follower. I know the culture and that sort of thing. And so one of the people who's come here recently, not necessarily specifically for Obsessed Garage until a week or so ago, is Rusty. So he and Matt go way back to like 2017 and before that. But long story short, so next Friday is my last day here at Obsessed Garage. I'm sticking around a little while. Matt's been nice enough to allow me to stick around and hand off some things personally to a lot of people around here. But I found an opportunity that I kind of couldn't pass up. Some friends of mine who are in Ocala. So I live in Ocala. It's a 38-minute drive from here on average. And that was one of the reasons that you can get to, basically. Excuse me. And I want to be back in Ocala, and I have a great opportunity to take everything that I learned here. This is what I told Matt, and I think he appreciates. Like, I've learned a lot here in the past 6.5 years, and I can take that now and apply that to someone new.
Who's where we were,
Correct.
5, 6, 7 years ago. Right?
Yeah, they are now. And so I come in looking like a genius because of all this stuff that I've learned. And Rusty now comes in, and he is a genius because of all the stuff that he's learned, and he can take what I've done and kind of take it and run with it and do awesome things way easier, way quicker than I would have done. And so now I get to go and do that for somebody else, which I'm excited about. It's closer to home. It's a friend of mine I've known for 30 years now, which makes me sound old. But yeah, that's the short version. So I appreciate all you guys who have followed us, who wish me well. That's super nice. I didn't get headhunted by Turtle Wax. I'm not going to Clean Garage, nothing like that. This is completely different, has nothing to do with anything remotely close to Obsessed Garage. Because
I think the thing that really resonated with me and set me at ease is when you said, look, I feel like I'm leaving you in a good spot, and this is what I want to do. Like, I want to do this. I want to try this. I want to go down this path. And most of the people that have come and gone here, we have had extremely low turnover compared to most, young, growing organizations. And I think that's a testament to the coaching that we get. I think without that, we'd have some high dysfunction, right? Especially, my skill set is not people. My skill set is the stuff, the products. And so without the coaching element, us getting together, and then I'm sure that coaching probably had a lot to do with you making this decision, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I've gotten us to where I feel like I can get us. I want to go and there's some advantages to, I can be closer. I can, free up time in my life, free up an hour plus of my life every day. And then I can take what I've learned and then, add to that. I mean, I think that's all anybody can ask for. And so they say at times, Rick has talked about, there's times that the organization can outgrow its people. And in this case, I think it's, you outgrew your role and you found like the path when I was sitting there and you were telling me this, it just made sense. Normally I would get freaking out. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, you were very well composed.
I felt kind of bad. I'm like, I should be like feeling real bad about that. I don't feel bad. Like, it's not that it really had nothing to do with you leaving or staying, or I didn't feel like we were getting a divorce. It was like my child is going to college, kind of thing, that kind of feeling, It's like, crap, I'd really like to kind of stay in this Goldilocks period forever. But it's very clear that we're not, and we can't do that, and you can't do that, and I can't do that, and so it just felt like it made a lot of sense. And then I think this is a testament. You were sitting here telling the story, like normally when somebody tells you that, all right, have your keys, call Bryce and get you locked out of everything. You know, that kind of thing is normally how it goes. And especially someone at your level that has as much access as you have. I mean, Chris could write a check and knows my bank account passwords. And so I think it's a testament to you that it just feels okay. You know, not ideal, but I think it feels okay. And I think that the people that have come here and the stuff that we built together, the culture that we built together has afforded us the ability to make this transition and make it appropriate rather than have this like, you know, let's start splitting up the assets kind of thing, you know.
It's well said.
And you know, it's funny. I bet you 50% of people don't believe us. They can't believe. There's no way. There's something else going on there. No, it's pretty simple. It's a place that's closer, somebody you've known for life, that's been after you for years, and you feel like it's the right time to do it, and it feels right for OG. So that's it. That's the whole story.
It's pretty nice. It's like that's kind of ideal if you think about it. Like,
yeah.
There's lots worse ways to leave a job. I'm sure many of you have done that over the years and not felt that way. And it's kind of a blessing, and it puts me at peace. Like it's not just you're the one who's peaceful. Like I'm peaceful about the decision and having the right people here. It makes it easier on me as well. So. Yeah.
So Rusty's background, you can get it on the Inside the Hex if you want, because he's hosting a podcast there. I don't know how this happened that my COOs end up being my podcast hosts here. But Rusty was the one. He's the one who made the foam cannon quick disconnect for us, and he was in the defense industry, where they did a lot of other things, but they armed helicopters, you know, and under government contracts, private contracts, and national and international contracts, where his expertise is that sort of next level of what you've built, which is the true like operations, the detailed operations. So he's actually bringing in his expertise, like you're taking your expertise and then going and building something, you know, from where it's at, taking it to the next level. And I think that that's what you hope to have as an executive, is that you find your niche, you find your ceiling, and then you go, you know, leverage that expertise. You find a new ceiling, and you keep leveling up from there. And I think and sometimes it's best served doing that in a different spot. And that's why I think when I'm sitting in this and you're telling me this, it just fit. And I knew what I was going to do. And I knew I had the guy that was going to fill the role, so I didn't feel like I was getting left out. And I hope you felt, you know, good about the fact that, well, you know, you're not leaving me in the lurch here, because I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go become a COO for a while until I figure it out. But I kind of knew right then and there that I had that. I didn't know if he was going to do it or not.
Yeah, sorry, Rusty.
So we demoted him from CEO of Obsessed Home Theater to COO of Obsessed Entities, if you will. And then Obsessed Home Theater gets kind of, and we'll talk about this more in the business podcast Inside the Hex, but the concept of having, you know, I'm going to have a lot of different entities that we bolt onto the Obsessed Garage engine that we've built, and having an outside CEO inside the organization is clunky and doesn't work very well anyway. And so we're kind of figuring out how to navigate that stuff. So we'll do a final farewell next week, I guess. My schedule looks good, so we should be good for the podcast.
Matt says whatever super chats you do next week, he'll match it on the way out for me.
And so mad again. Somehow I'm saying there's going to be a Chris party. We always throw parties for people who get fired or leave. It's crazy. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. So we're going to be throwing Chris a party, which is ridiculous.
I didn't know this, so he just spoiled that surprise. Yeah. I should have just waited until the podcast to tell you that I was leaving. That would have been fun to catch it live.
That would have been funny. I hate this idea. It's like, stuff. Screw you, Chris. You're not getting a freaking party. We're going to get him a cake.
We're having Wendy's and we're having Hardee's.
I'm not coming to that. I'm not coming to that party. I don't care. I don't got to put on a brave face for you anymore because you're not even going to be here. I can say whatever I want.
We got one more super chat here. We'll end with this.
Okay.
From Nate Mercy, $9.99. Chris, could you do a final update of the new OGHQ before you leave, as you've done in the past? Maybe a live update next week. Always funny to watch.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's already in the works, Nate. I'll tell you that.
Oh boy,
me and Waba, we got.
He's gonna leave some Easter eggs in here. He's gonna leave a time capsule on the wall somewhere, and like 12 years from now, he's gonna tell me to go check this wall, cut a hole in or something.
Good stuff.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, everybody.